get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. Hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal Thursday. If you guys are tuning in on Friday, hopefully you guys are having a great start to you guys Friday as well. But let's get to it today. You know, there's going to be some boxing news, and then obviously tomorrow's show is going to be primarily dedicated to a fight preview of the incredible Riyadh season ring card going down in Saudi Arabia. Once I want to make sure audio is good. All right, we're good to go. So that's going to be more so the focus point of what Friday's show is going to be. But today's show is going to be some boxing news. And also, if you guys have any comments or topics, keep the chat active. Make sure to go put some stuff in the chat, and I'll make sure to address those thoughts in the show as well as your comment will pop up on the screen. If you're tuning in on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button for me. I always appreciate that as well. But with that being said, let's get to it today. I'm going to start off with this. And I have been very critical of the bleak future of British boxing quite a few times on the show. Now, I must say this. Rapidly, all of a sudden, British boxing is almost starting to have some light at the end of the tunnel. We know that Nick Ball has been the only world champion. He's been holding down British boxing, and now Fabio Wardley has now joined the man. Lewis Crocker is also world champion. Then you look at an opportunity for Conor Benn, who now is not a world champion, but has just it quickly become now a superstar in boxing. Adam Azim, who is one of the most intriguing young prospects in all boxing, he's quickly rising. Well, Dalton Smith is in a position that I don't know what's going to happen now, but should be positioning himself for a world championship shot in the near future. You have Sam Noakes fighting this weekend for a world championship. And I just look at this right now, and I just have to admit this. British boxing is almost starting to turn the corner a little bit. Now, it's way too early to say that they're back in prime state or in a great position, because they're not, but there is starting to be a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, which is huge for British boxing. So a lot of things still moving pieces going on right now, but I have to make sure that for somebody who is quite critical of how British boxing has been developing post-Fury and AJ era, that, well, let's be honest, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. All right, I'm going to head over into the heavyweight division now, and this is going to be a pitch I'm going to make. It's time that Richard Torrez Jr. and Jared Anderson fight each other. Listen, American boxing has been in a position right now where it is struggling. It's on life support, and I'm not sure we're ever going to get to a place where it's ever back to the heyday of primetime heavyweight American boxing. I don't think we're ever going to get there again. But what we do have is two intriguing guys in the mid-20s, Richard Torrez Jr. and Jared Anderson, both signed with Top Rank, the two top guys that are semi-contenders right now at the heavyweight division, both from America. Why are they not fighting each other? It is time to make this fight happen. It's been talked about for way too long. American boxing needs a heavyweight fight that we can get behind and get a little bit excited about. And this is the one to make. It's the only one you can make. And so if you are Top Rank, you need to start working this situation out. We need to see Richard Torrez Jr. and Jared Anderson fight each other in the near future. I think 2026 needs to happen by. There's no excuse if it does not happen. Both of these guys have gone to a place where they need each other to help them elevate their careers. Because if the winner whoever emerges as the winner from that fight, quickly puts himself as the best American heavyweight at the moment. Now, Jarrell Miller, Deontay Wilder, those guys are aging. They're obviously still in the mix. Michael Hunter as well. But in terms of that young blood, you would be that guy now. And we need to know who is that guy. Joshua Edwards is up and coming. He's still a couple years behind these guys, but we need to know who that guy is, and that's the fight to make if you want to figure that out. So if you are Top Rank and you are some American heavyweight boxing fans, it is time to make Richard Torrez Jr. and Jared Anderson happen. We need this fight to happen. It must go down. Now, the rumors of this next report started to come out last week. I've given my thoughts on it already, but now it is official. Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios for the World Championship on February 21st. Ryan Garcia has now signed the contract to challenge Mario Barrios' WBC welterweight title on February 21st. Hats off to Mario Barrios. I mean, I've been very clear and critical about this man. I think he is the worst world champion in all boxing at this moment in time. But listen, the man knows how to get paid. The man knows how to take the situation where, listen, he knows he's not the best guy in the world, but there's a reason all these top guys with big money and paychecks are going to come into the fight, want to fight him because they think they can beat him. Manny Pacquiao, now Ryan Garcia. Two massive paydays for Mario Barrios. Congratulations to this man. And on top of that, Ryan Garcia now has a chance to legitimately become world champion. I think Ryan Garcia, healthy with it, he can beat Mario Barrios. Just like I think a lot of guys at 147 can actually beat Mario Barrios. Just like I think Manny Pacquiao did beat Mario Barrios in the ring. So it is now official. Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, February 21st, 2026. Conor Benn was on his show, the Era Hawani show, just a little bit ago, and he talked about some fight options. Here's one of them. Conor Benn said that they called Chris Eubank Jr. about the trilogy fight, and Eubank said he's only doing it if it's at 168, which Conor didn't agree to, and Eubank hasn't been answering his calls since. Makes sense. Listen, Conor Benn said after the fight that the trilogy, this rematch and this rivalry between the two is over with. And I agree. There's no point in making this fight anymore. Chris Eubank Jr. looked like crap in the ring. He was clearly badly weight drained. The rehydration clause killed him again in this fight. We don't want to see this fight happen. It's time to move on. Both guys need to go their own ways. I get why they called it because it would have been a big payday, but it's not that big of a payday as it would have been for the rematch. We don't need the trilogy right now. 168 would be too high of a weight jump for Conor Benn. I don't blame him for not wanting that fight. 160 is too low of a weight class for Chris Eubank Jr. It's time for Eubank Jr. to go up to like 168. It's time for Benn to go down to 154, 147. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, he did apparently call Chris Eubank Jr. about the trilogy, but we don't want that. Conor Benn also said this. He said that he spoke to Shakur Stevenson yesterday, and he said he is down to fight, but he has to get Teofimo Lopez out the way first, and then they can talk about fighting next in the UK. All right. Shakur Stevenson and Conor Benn would be quite an interesting fight. Now, Shakur Stevenson would be moving up multiple weight classes. Remember, Shakur Stevenson's a 135 guy moving up to 140 to fight Teofimo Lopez. If he fights Conor Benn, it's either going to be at 147, 154, but we just saw the man fight at 160 comfortably in 2 fights this year. That would be a big, big weight jump for Shakur Stevenson. However, Shakur Stevenson is far and away the better boxer than Conor Benn. Conor Benn has some solid power. He's got skill. But in terms of the skill inside that ring, it's night and day difference. Not comparable. And I think Shakur would destroy him in that regard. But if you are Shakur, that is a very fine line to walk. And that weight jump would be something you have to keep your eye on. So I personally would not be shocked to see the fight happen. I think Shakur going to the UK, fighting a big fight with Conor Benn would make sense for him paycheck-wise. But that is a big jump, and I'd be intrigued to see if Shakur actually would want that. But if Shakur did that win, that would be significant for himself. Daniel Dubois has withdrawn from his world title eliminator against Frank Sanchez. Interesting. All right. Frank Sanchez has been in position for the world title eliminator. He has been in a position where he's now had Torrez Jr. turn him down, as well as Daniel Dubois turn him down, as well as, I think the list is now 5 or 6 men. So for Frank Sanchez, this man's essentially become one of the boogeymens of heavyweight in a weird way. Nobody wants to fight the man. It makes sense. It's obviously a risk, as it always is with the heavyweight division, and there's not any money with Frank Sanchez. Nobody knows who Frank Sanchez is outside of boxing experts. It is not a big fight to make, and I get it. Now, for Daniel Dubois, he could have essentially looked at that as a tune-up fight and become a world title position, but here's why I think Daniel Dubois turned it down. Well, remember, Fabio Wardley is now world champion. Daniel Dubois is in good placing right now with that belt and organizing group, and I think on top of that, Wardley, Dubois would be a massive draw, especially if you're talking about the UK. Sign me up for that. I think that would sell a great amount of tickets at the O2. Maybe you could even do Tottenham Hotspur for that fight. I'm not quite sure, but possibly. And it makes plenty of sense. For Dan Dubois withdrawing from the Frank Sanchez fight it makes perfect sense to me. And I would love to see Dan Dubois fight Fabio Wardley. I think it'd be a great fight. Here's the big news. It's going to wrap up today's show. Unless you guys have any more comments. And if you guys do, make sure to put it in the chat. And it is this. This just pisses me off, to be honest with you. Subriel Matias delivered an adverse analytical finding for the performance-enhancing drug Ostarine in a VADA test, sources tell the Ring's Mike Coppinger. Matias' WBC junior welterweight title defense versus Dalton Smith on January 10th in New York is now in jeopardy. Matias has 10 days to request testing of his B sample, putting his January 10th WBC title defense against Dalton Smith in doubt. If Matias is eventually stripped of his WBC title upon investigation of the positive test results, expect the organization to order a vacant title fight between Dalton Smith and Alberto Puello. And then on top of that, Matias has the opportunity for his B sample to be tested. He defeated Puello for the title in July in New York. And Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz is another option on the table. Will be upgraded to be for the WBC title if Matias is stripped and failed Ostarine drug test. All right, lots to unpack there, but let's just get to the facts. There is a serious problem with PED use in boxing. I don't know the number, nor do I know the record, but 2025 has to be nearing the record for the most failed drug tests in the history of boxing within a calendar year. It has to be. Over and over and over again this year, we are getting these reports of guy after guy after guy that's failing the drug tests. What is going on? If you are a boxer, stay clean. Why is it such a big problem? Well, my guess is because it's not big enough punishment for these guys. If we want to keep the sport of boxing clean, or at least cleaner than it is today, then guess what we need to do? There needs to be legitimate punishment placed upon each and every single guy that tests positive for any form of drugs. Make it severe. Stop letting these guys do this because all they're doing is destroying the sport. And on top of that, let's look at the big picture. They're damaging and hurting the lives of other fighters. How are we going to allow this to continue to happen? It is time that the boxing world puts in much more strict retaliation and limits to make sure that we stop the PED usage within the ring. It's getting ridiculous. Matias is just being added onto this list, but he's not the only one. I've had this talk way too many times on the show before, especially this year, and it's time for change to happen. For Dalton Smith, he's in the worst situation of all of them. This man is preparing for a world championship fight, and now he's going to be put in limbo. He's already gone through the training camp process. Now we have to wait to see what happens with Matias. Then they have to reorder a new fight, and the process goes on and on again. I don't know when Dalton Smith will get this fight. It might not happen until the spring. So if you're Dalton Smith, you're put in a screwed up position because Subriel Matias doesn't know how to be a clean fighter. Now maybe the B sample comes out clean. So I will wait to give my full judgment on Matias until this comes to fruition. But listen, this is a bad look. Something that should never happen in boxing. And if it is in fact true that he took steroids, then guess what? My take that I have for every single boxer that ever has done this is this. Get them out of the sport for a significant amount of time. Whether that be 5 years, whatever it is, get them out of the sport. There should be no tolerance for this type of stuff happening in boxing. It's too dangerous of a sport already for us to continue to allow guys taking performance enhancements inside of the ring. Absolutely irresponsible. With that being said, I don't see any more comments in the comment section, so that'll be wrapping up today's show. I will be back live tomorrow, so make sure to tune in on Friday's show. But I hope you guys have a blessed rest of you guys Thursday. I will see you guys back live tomorrow. May God bless you guys all. And with that being said, SchuZ out. God bless y'all.